Hi detoxers, today I am wanting to talk a lot about the concept of going grainless. If there was any part of the sugar detox that probably gives people, I don't know, I guess probably the most difficulty or the thing that they have to kind of work with the most, it's initially the idea that we're not going to have grains within the program. And there are a few reasons why we do that. One is when you're constantly eating grains, which the North American diet is full of, there are all sorts of things that we're not putting into our diet. So this is an opportunity for you to eat a very low sugar, whole-based lifestyle and experience what it feels like to not have grains. There are other reasons why, and one is that quite often there won't be sugar actually listed on the nutrition fact label, but grains like breads and pastas and crackers and things like that, and wraps and pizza dough and all of that breaks down into sugar like that. And then of course, there's other ones that are full of sugar. So this program is completely grain-free, and I am encouraging you to continue with that. So I want to give you some alternatives. The first thing I'm going to say is we've just got used to using grain. We've got used to having bread all of the time, mostly I would say for breakfast and for lunch, but certainly for some people they have a very heavy pasta diet or whatnot. So I want to give you some ideas. One is, can you conceive of the idea that you just go bunless or you go grainless? In other words, if you're having a hamburger or something like that, you're just not having a bun at all. If that is like the weirdest idea to you at all, then of course you can do other things. You can put your meat or your topping or your protein source rather over things like salads. You can put them over roasted vegetables. I really like to use something to scoop it up. So for me, I will use things like collard wraps, which I'm going to show you how to make them. So I'll use collard greens as a way for me to put a hamburger or something like that inside of it. I will often use romaine lettuce. Now this particular romaine lettuce has kind of small leaves, but when you get the ones that have really large leaves, they kind of are their own natural shell. So that works really well. You can also use butter lettuce and so on. All of those things help a lot. So you can actually buy some grain-free wraps as an example. They're made out of coconut. I actually particularly don't really love the flavor, but that's something that you can try. If you're just like, I really love my wraps and I want to have something that is, I'll say bread-like, you could try those. You'll find them in most natural health food stores. The other thing you could do is, if you are not wanting to put them over the roasted vegetables or the sauteed greens, you could start to use things like sliced cucumbers. When I'm thinking about crackers and I'm putting out food for my family, I try and think what things look like crackers that aren't actually grains. So I will take an English cucumber, of course, and I will do cucumber rounds. Sometimes I will take a sweet potato and I'll use my mandolin and I will make thinner slices and roast them in the oven till they're a little bit crispy. That's a great way to do it. But also you can also take a cucumber and you can slice it longitudinally. Then you can flip it open, you can start to take out some of the seeds, and you can put filling inside of it. The other thing that works really well is you can use raw vegetables. Of course, celery has long been used as a little boat for food as well. So when you're thinking about hors d'oeuvres and you're thinking about dips and you're thinking about things that you want to put on those kinds of plates, start to think about how vegetables can do double duty. And that's one of my greatest examples. So cauliflower crust. So if you are a pizza lover, you're not having dairy, but you can make many, many non-dairy forms of pizza, and you can use pizza crust that is made out of cauliflower. I believe that we have a recipe within that, and if not, it'll be coming out in the email. That's an example of a way that you can make that nice alternative. So when you're talking about wraps, I'm going to introduce you to one of the things that I use in my house a lot. Is I use collard greens. So before, when I first started, I would use things like this. But of course, as you can imagine, they break really easily. So although they work really well, and oftentimes you'll go to a restaurant and you'll see lettuce wraps on the appetizer menu, but I prefer to use collard greens. They are super sturdy, they wrap up really nice, they're super easy to hold, and they transport pretty well. So today I'm gonna show you how to do that. So you wanna buy fresh collard wraps that have some pretty good turgor. I'm gonna tell you that these ones are particularly hard today. So I'm gonna also give you a little trick as how you can reduce the stiffness to them. So the first thing you're probably gonna wanna do after you wash them and after you dry them is you're gonna wanna pull out this long stem. So one of the easiest ways for me to do that is have a really sharp knife and start to go down the edge on the back side of the leaf and pull off this thick part here. At the same time, I don't need this end, so I'm going to take this off as well. So this is actually pretty pliable now, but one of the things that I saw online that I thought was a pretty good idea is to actually mildly steam them, which is actually what I did just before I started the video today. And all I simply did, I have a kettle like this, but you could use it over a pot, is I boiled the water, and while it was boiling, I opened up the lid. I used a tea cloth as well, so that, oh my gosh, be careful, steam is super, super hot. And I just ran the leaf over top of the hot steam for a few minutes, not even a few minutes, maybe about a minute. And this, of course, still has all its turgor, but it is not as stiff as before. So that's something that you could do. And that's what I went here. So these things are awesome because you can put anything you want in here. So how I would typically do this is I would start off with some sort of spread on the bottom. You can use hummus, you could use like a tapenade made out of olives, or you could use guacamole, anything like that. I'm actually not going to put anything on this one today, but I did go ahead and make up a bit of a concoction. So like all wraps, you can put whatever you want in it. In this particular one, I used some leftover roasted chicken breasts. I cut up a little bit of green apple, some celery, and some red pepper. I put a few capers in there and just a quick shot of Dijon mustard. So hard for me to show you that. Now, you'll notice that I put tons and tons in here, and that's because this follows my theory that anytime you make anything in the kitchen, you want to make extra, because whatever doesn't fit in my collard wraps is something that I can use for my next meal. Whether it be I just eat it with a spoon later, great protein source, nice healthy fats in there, or I can go ahead and top it on top of my salad tomorrow, or I can even have it in the morning with my eggs. So this here is mayonnaise. You can make your mayonnaise. You'll know right now that that's not something I do, but mayonnaise absolutely falls within the program. This particular one is made out of avocado oil. It's by Primal Kitchen, but you'll look on a regular mayonnaise and you'll notice that it actually, most of them fall well within the confines of our low sugar detox. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put this together a little bit. I have the world's smallest little spoon, a little bit of sea salt. So what I love to do when I do this is I like to combine different things. So I have a little bit of sweetness of a green apple, just a tiny corner of it. And of course the crunchiness of cucumber and celery. And then I have some healthy fat in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and spoon it into my collard wrap. And then you can add whatever you want. As you know in this program, this is, oh yeah, don't you just love that? All right, so I'm gonna cut a little bit of that out. My love and hate affair with avocado for this very reason. But avocados, although they're a fruit, they are full of all sorts of loving fat that your body absolutely adores. And it gives an element of taste and flavor. And that's the thing with a lot of the foods that I'm talking about, is that you want to incorporate as many textures, tastes, colors, and all those things, because that is how we create enjoyment out of food, not just in our belly, but with our eyes. And microgreens. So it's always nice to put something a little bit crunchy back in there. So these ones are actually pretty great. These are red Russian kale microgreens. They are chocked full of nutrients and absolutely delicious. So I am totally guilty of what you are probably guilty of when you make a wrap, which is you put tons of stuff in it and then of course you can't close it. So I'm gonna do my best with that. So other options of course would be any type of leftover. What I wanna make sure you do is that you really get a handle on prepping once, planning once, cooking once, and eating 2 to 3 times. So this is the kind of thing where you can be repurposing a lot of the food from the day before or the meal before. And if that's not the case, then things like wild sockeye salmon And actually tempeh, if you've never had it, is really delicious. It's like a fermented version of tofu. So you're gonna wanna get this non-GMO and organic. But this is a really great thing. What I'll end up doing with that is I'll slice it up and I'll go ahead and I'll just saute it in the frying pan and then I'll put it in here. All right, so whatever you have decided you're gonna put in here, then you just simply start rolling. So I roll back right over top of everything, and just like a sushi roll, you start to bring it in. Bring in the edges. Oh yeah, I got way too much stuff in this one. And so on. And if you did what I did, which is you put too much, you simply pick it up and you can roll it again into the next leaf. And these are actually pretty small collared leaves. Typically, you can easily find them that are a little bit bigger. Give them a nice cut. And there you go. So as you're navigating through the program and you're trying to come up with some new ways of looking at old problems, these are the perfect examples of finding ways that you can incorporate and repurpose what was once a bread issue to something that is much healthier, low sugar, no sugar, and also provides a ton of nutrients. This would be a perfect example. All right, hope you can give it a try. Let me know how it goes.